Hi everybody, it's Julie, Kansas City girl in a Colorado world. This is Flosstube number 86. Today is Wednesday, September 1st. That's right, it's September 1st, which means it is now spooky season. I'm sorry, Diana, but it is time. I'm embracing my witchy vibes today, and I couldn't hold out any longer. It's time for fall stitching. I've got some fall stitching to show you guys. But I've also got a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's been 3 weeks since my last video. I just couldn't get it together last week to film. So it's been 3 weeks, which means that's a whole nother week of stitching. And I have been starting all of the things, like all of the things. So I have a lot of stitching today. So let's get started, because this is probably going to be a long one. So I want to start with my previous finishes, and this is just a look back at things I was finishing this time last year. So last year I finished a project, and I actually sent it away. It was a gift for a friend. So I'm going to insert a picture of this project, but it is it's by the Witchy Stitcher, and it's called the Salem Witch Trials. And I stitched this on, I think it was maybe a 30 count or a 32 count linen, but I had dyed it myself. And then I actually used floss that I had dyed myself as well. And so that was all kind of like custom dyed, I guess. And then I did a stand-up flat finish. I don't know, I guess is it just called a stand-up or a pop-up? To make it kind of look like, what I was thinking was to make it kind of look like a tombstone, like kind of style. So there's that. And then what else did I finish about a year ago? I finished, let me grab all this stuff. I finished this little project from the Fat Quarter Shop, and it was, I believe it was last year in celebration of World Cross Stitch Day, which is in August. They had released this pattern. Now, I did not stitch the entire pattern, so I actually stitched like a portion of it, and then I went, oh, that's pretty cute. I think I'm done. So the actual pattern said, this says homemade, but the full pattern I think said happiness is homemade. And there was like a leafy circular border around it. But it was, I thought I've stitched this much, and I thought it looked really cute. And I was like, you know, I think I'm just going to finish it like that. So I just did like a simple gray fabric on the back, a gray chenille trim. And then these are, I don't remember where I got these, but these are just little decorative pens that I stuck in there. This is stitched on it looks like a 16 or an 18. It's probably an 18 count Aida. And I think it was just from like a grab bag, like a mystery linen. So there was that. And then about this time last year, I finished my first stitch along with Stitchonomy. So if you guys aren't aware of the Stitchonomy stitch-alongs, you join the mailing list, and then these stitch-alongs come out every so often through the year, and they're free if you sign up ahead of time. If you miss the sign up, then you can buy them later. And she did this fantastic fungi stitch-along. So this was free if you did it last summer. You can now buy it. It's just stitched with DMC. I hand dyed this fabric. It was a 40 count. It was like the ugliest picture this plus fabric I ever saw in my life. It was the color Swamp, but it just, in 40 count, it was so ugly. I've looked at pictures of Swamp online before, and they look fine, but mine was just particularly hideous. So I dyed it with a whole bunch of stuff and it was a color I felt was usable. And then it's just stitched with DMC. And then this pom-pom trim is Lady Dot creates, I can't remember what the color is called, Jack maybe, something like that. But it turned out so cute. I'm very happy with this. And this is usually kind of sitting back here behind me, and I've gotten asked about this several times. So if you can get this now, you just have to pay for it. It's the Fantastic Fungi Stitch Along from Stitchonomy. And then I guess I was doing Christmas in July last year. I must have been, because I have some Christmassy stuff. So this is a Blackbird Designs stocking. It's called Poinsettia Stocking. There's 5 of them, and I planned to stitch all 5, and I've only managed to do this one. It's with the called for floss. I think it was just 2 colors, which you probably can't even tell because they look to be the same color. I'm sure that's just dye lot issues. Like, I'm sure when it was designed, those were 2 different shades of red, but when I purchased them, they ended up being almost the same color. And I just finished this with like some fabric I had in stash. This is a 32 count raw witchelt. It's that really stiff stuff. Yeah, so there's that. It was a lot of floss. It took up like a full skein of both flosses. I did 2 over 2 on 32 count. Used a lot of floss. I do remember that because I was like, oh, I'm supposed to stitch 4 more of these, and I definitely don't have enough floss for that. And then this last one was a gift. So my friend Victor, he had sent me the pattern and the floss and the fabric for this last year. And so we stitched this together. We did like a little like mini stitch along. And so it's all the called for floss, and the fabric was like a 35 count from Access Commodities. And I mean, it's just a natural. It might've been called like raw natural, something like that. And I stitched, did I do 2 strands or 1? It looks like 2 because it was a 35 count. So I probably wasn't happy with the coverage of just 1 strand. Yeah, I'm sure that's 2 strands over 2. And then I finished it with this little pillow finish. This is trim probably from like Joann's, and this was just, okay. I've been having technical difficulties with my phone. I am getting a new phone really soon. I just don't want to spend the money on a new phone, but I've been having a lot of issues. So this video might end up just being all spliced together with several short video clips that I splice. Anyway, I don't know where it cut me off exactly. But yeah, just a soft pillow finish with stuff I had in stash, and it came out really, really cute. So those were all of my previous finishes. And then I have one finish for this video. So, okay. The designer Liz Matthews, her design brand is Hello from Liz Matthews. And I love like literally everything she designs. I think she's just so talented. Part of that could be because her mom is Kathy Barrick. Like, the talent in that family is unreal. So anyway, Liz had contacted several floss tubers, and she said, hey, I've got this pattern I've designed, and when I was picking my color palette for the pattern, I was having a really hard time like settling on a palette because there's just so many options that I was inspired by. And then she thought like it would be fun to collaborate with people. I may not be telling this really well or exactly accurately. But anyway, she reached out to several of us and just said, you know, would you like to collaborate with me? Just like go into your DMC and make a color palette, like whatever you want, whatever like you're inspired by, whatever's calling to you. And then you can stitch the pattern if you want, but you don't have to. Like, just send me your colors and it'll just be like a fun little collaboration we can do. So of course I was like super honored that she asked me, and of course I jumped on actually participating. Here is Liz's version. So the pattern is After the Rain, and these are her colors, and I think it's 12 DMCs. It might be more than 12. now that I'm looking at the list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14. She has 14 colors on here. So anyway, I came up with a palette of 12 colors, and the thought behind this is, you don't have to follow like a legend exactly. Like, just grab your colors and like mix and match. So I started with a palette of 12 colors, and then I just kind of picked like sets of 3 and stitched my little rainbows. So I was inspired by the new, I call them new DMCs, but they've been out for a couple of years now. But basically the DMC range of the numbers like 1 through 35. There are a lot of grays in there, and then there's some beautiful deep purples, but there's also a lot of pastels in there, and they remind me of like sherbet, just really beautiful pastels like oranges, greens, purples, pinks, and yellows. And I don't see a lot of designs with those new colors, and so I was just wanting to use those colors, and I came up with the idea of just pulling all the like beautiful pastels I could. So most of these are the newer colors. I'll insert like the colors I use, but there are some original higher number colors as well. But I picked 12, and then I just started pairing, or not pairing, but matching them up in sets of 3. And this fabric is 32 count linen from a Black Needle Society box, the Pirate's Life box. So this is fabric from Jody from Steel City Stitchers. And so you can't get this fabric, but I think any chalkboard fabric would work great. This fabric actually has some glitter. I have no idea if you can see it, but it has like a glitter overspray. Anyway, I think it turned out so good. I was just so excited with how my vision came to life. I had this like chalky vision, and it totally came true. So as you can see, I did not stitch all 25 of the rainbows because I was going to. But my friend Shannon Bromo, she actually participated as well. And she had sent me a picture. We both knew we were doing it, so the secret, we didn't have to keep it a secret from each other. So Shannon sent me what she had done, and she had gotten 9 done, and she was like, I think I might stop. It looks really cute this way. And I was like, it does look really cute like that. Like, I might stop at 9 too. It wasn't because it took forever to stitch or anything. These actually stitched up really fast. I could do like 2 or 3 in a night. But I did just think it looked so cute as 9, and then I was like, oh, I could do a nice square finish, like, so that's why I didn't do the entire pattern. But I'm going to insert some pictures of some of the collaborations, hopefully, so you can see. There were some people actually did get to stitch some of it, and then some people just had the colors picked but maybe haven't stitched it or didn't get a chance to. But if you are interested in anybody's color palettes, Liz has those available, but this is what I settled on, and I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. So I have an extra pattern to give away. So Liz sent me 2 copies of the pattern, one for me and then one to give away. So if you are interested in this pattern, why don't you just use the word rain in your comment, and I will just pick a winner randomly, and I'll get in touch with you and send this out. Just use the word rain. So if you go to Liz's last Flosstube, she has more information about everybody who participated. I think there were maybe 5 or so of us. So go check that out. So, okay. Oh, and I'm going to link the Flosstubes below. That's what I'm going to do. For the people who participated, I will link them below so you can go check that out too. So the next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about before I show you what I've been working on is a little bit of a plan. I don't usually do like plans, but this is a big plan, so I do want to talk about it a little bit. So Alicia at Resist Stitch is hosting a marathon in September and October. And it's going to benefit, it's like a charity marathon stitching to benefit an organization for missing, murdered, and Indigenous women. We're going to use the hashtag, I'm going to try to put it in here. I know how to put pictures in. I haven't tried to put words in, but I'm sure it's the same process. So hopefully this is working right now. Marathon for MMIW is the hashtag. And people who are joining in are committing to stitch 100 hours through the month of September and October on any project of their choice. And you can like sponsor us. You can send a donation, a flat donation, or you can sponsor us like per hour. Like if you did, 10 cents per hour, and then we or I hit the 100 hours, then that would be like a $10 donation. So I will link below the fundraising page if you are interested in supporting us that way. But the pattern I have chosen for my 100 hours, so that, that is a commitment, 100 hours in 2 months. So you're looking at, 50 hours in a month. I think it's totally doable because I do stitch several hours every day. So stitching 1 to 2 hours a day on a project isn't like a hardship for me. It's just that I usually switch out my projects every couple of days. So I don't usually just stitch on something for 2 months straight. So the challenge for me is not the 100 hours. The challenge for me is going to be 100 hours on one project. But the project I have chosen is Rosewood Manor and a Forest Grew. So after I film this video, after I edit it and start uploading it, I'm going to start stitching on this big old project. It is something I've had in stash and I've wanted to stitch for a while. And when I was trying to think of what kind of project I want to dedicate 100 hours to, this kind of ended up being the one. So I am recharting the verse. It has like I believe a religious verse. Yeah, it's definitely a religious verse in the middle, and I'm going to rechart it to something else. And I know a few people have stitched this and recharted the verse. I thought I had recharted something. I had sat down and like plotted it all out, had it all good to go, and then I showed a friend, and she kindly pointed out to me that the person who actually had the person the quote came from, which was John Muir, had a little bit of a problematic history with some racist comments, which I was not aware of. So I'm glad that was pointed out to me, but I was like, I don't think I want to use that quote anymore. So I am going back to the drawing board. I'm going to figure out a different quote. It's not going to interfere with anything right now because I'm going to start up here in the top left. So it will be a while before I'm in the middle anyway. And I will have figured out something else to go there. I'm not saying like, John Muir is like the devil or anything. I just wasn't comfortable. I think he was a product of the time. Like this, he passed away, I think in like 1918. So he had made some problematic statements in the late 1800s, which I'm not excusing this in any way, but I do think, for that time period, it probably was not really anything anyone like would bat an eye out at, but now it's just not okay. And I'm not comfortable with it. If I remember, I'll link an article below, if you want to go read more about it, because last summer, the Sierra Club, actually did like an editorial about like the problems of John Muir, who I believe founded the Sierra Club, or co-founded it. Anyway, if you want to learn more about it, I'll link it below if I remember, or you can Google it, you'll find it. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing for 100 hours in the next 2 months. If you want to donate towards the cause, Link is below, or if you want to join in, information is at that link as well, and join in. It'll be fun. Oh, I wanted to show you guys the floss for this pattern. It's all DMC, but I think it's 93 colors of DMC, something like that. It is so much floss. So here's my box of floss for this one project, and then the DMC I still have to bobbinate is right here, but yeah. It uses a lot of DMC. A lot. Okay, now let's get to some stitching. I have so much stitching to show you guys. Okay, so in my last video, I called out Kyle Reckemeyer, my friend Kyle, and I said he was about to catch up with me on the Al Forest free stitch along Alice in Wonderland, and I could not have that. I could not have that. So I used that as motivation to get this out and catch up. And I did beat Kyle, just for the record, because I think I was like 3 parts behind when I picked this up, and he was like he was where he was starting, I think, at the same part. And I stitched furiously for 3 days and I caught up. So I won. I did win. So, however, a new part came out Friday. It's just the newest part is just a border that runs along down the bottom. And I haven't done that, but it felt really, really good to get this caught up. So what I had to do to catch up was, I think I can't remember if I had this shoe done or not. So I might have had to finish this part, and then I had to do all of this, and then I did all of this, like the caterpillar and the plants. So honestly, it's an easy stitch along to keep up with. It doesn't take a lot of time to do each part. It's just that they come out every 2 weeks, so you get caught up and you're like, whew, and you start doing other stuff, and then they're like, boom, another part. So this Friday there's not a part coming out, so next Friday will be the next part. So I don't know exactly when I'm getting this back out to catch up again, but I'm trying to stay caught up so I don't fall really far behind. I did beat Kyle. I just want to like reiterate that for everybody. I did beat Kyle with this competition that I made up that he didn't ask for. he was messaging me like you seem to be taking this really seriously. And I was like, listen, I just need the motivation. I need my competitive spirit awakened so that I will get this out and stitch on it. It's nothing personal. It's nothing to do with you. But I did beat Kyle, just saying. So I love Kyle. It's all in good fun. We're not going to talk about that. He actually did already stitch the part that just came out on Friday. I said it didn't matter because the competition was over by that point. Like, it didn't matter. I did go back to Tiny Modernist Zodiac signs because in my last video I showed I had Leo almost done, but it wasn't quite done. So I did go back and finish that up. So this is a 14 count Ada that I dyed myself. Super happy with how it came out. And this was the July Zodiac. And she actually, I think just today released the September section, but here's what it looks like up through August. I only just started this, so obviously I'm not going to keep up or catch up on this. No way. The September section doesn't really look that dense though. Sorry for the noise, but I'm trying to make this easier on myself afterwards. All the called for DMC, I did change the border though. It calls for just DMC and I made mine metallic. It's Diamant. DMC Diamant, one of the gold colors. So I worked on that. And then I started a new project. This is Dark Crosses, which is modern folk embroidery, Edgar Allan Poe, Spirits of the Dead. And Jacob kindly sent me this pattern because he thought I would like it, which he was totally right. I love it. And I printed this in black and white. He stitched it on like a really nice golden beigey color. And I'm using 32 count linen from Fairy Wool in the Wood, and it's called Witch Tina. I got it from Top Knot Stitcher. And I am stitching this with a Color and Cotton floss in the color Caramel Brownie. And I started stitching it and it was like eating up floss. So I panicked and I went and ordered more because I only had one skein of Caramel Brownie. And I panicked that that was not going to be enough. So I went and ordered 3 more skeins. And I don't believe it's going to take all 3, but I do think it could possibly take 2. So maybe more. I just wasn't sure. So I went and bought more of Caramel Brownie, and they match, same dye lot, so it's all good. And here's where I got on this one. I'm really happy with how the floss is looking on this fabric. So I'm almost done with the words, but of course the words are the easy part. Up at the top there's quite a lot of dense stitching, and even at the bottom. It's gonna look, I mean, it looks awesome. I'm really happy with how it's coming out. It reminded me why I don't like to stitch with 2 strands on lower count fabric with over dyed, because it just eats the floss. I mean, it's just like, I couldn't believe how much floss I was using. I think I'll be okay though now that I have 4 skeins of it. So there's that. This needle minder, I don't remember where I got it, but I thought it fit the piece. So then I also worked on my modern folk embroidery, Fruits of Plenty. This is the 2021 stitch along, and a new part just came out today. So it's just divided into 12. It's not a mystery. We know what it's going to look like, but we get 1 part each month. And I had fallen quite behind on this, and I was determined to catch up, and I'm still determined to catch up. But essentially I was like, I cannot allow myself to be 2 parts behind. I can be 1 part behind, but I cannot be 2 parts behind. So my goal was to finish the July section before today, before September 1st. And I did, and I even got into August. So I've got a nice start on August as well. So I'm only 1 part behind. I'm going to continue plugging away at this. So, you know, I'm doing my 100 hours on And a Forest Grew. That's going to take a lot of my stitching time over the next 2 months. So my other focus is going to be this project. I'm going to try to do like 30 minutes a day, and see if that allows me to stay caught up. But I'm determined to finish this year. So it's hard to show this one because it's so big, but this is, I'm going to have to take it out of the Q-snap more. I took it halfway out. Okay. So here we go. 40 count fabric in the color Caravan Tan from Fortnite Fabrics. That's a permanent fabric you can get. It's not like a monthly fabric. And I'm stitching it with 2 colors of Valdani silk floss. And I did hit the end of the green. So I actually, I used the last of the green yesterday, and I stopped so I could show you like that skein of green. And you might be going, gosh, how did you get that much out of 1 skein? It's not like a 5 or 6 yard skein. It's a 22 yard skein, 6 strands of silk floss. So it's a ton on 1 skein. So the 22 yard skein, I got this far with the green. I still have quite a lot left of the navy, but I do believe I will have to get into a second skein before the very end. I think I'm going to get like almost done, and then maybe the last block or the November block, I'm going to have to bust into the second one. But the green lasted me more than half, so I will be fine with that second skein. I'll be able to get it done. So I'm into August right now, and then September, is out, so I'm hoping to get to that soon. And I'm really happy with how this is looking, and I'm determined to have that huge finish at the end of the year. So then, this is so exciting. Okay, so where to begin with this one? My friend Victor, he doesn't do Flosstube, but he is a Flosstube fan, and he likes to cheer a lot of people on. So I know a lot of you know who Victor is. He is on Instagram under the account Flawed Sir, and he's just been like a friend who has supported me. Like, I don't even remember. I don't remember when we really like started talking. But I feel like he's kind of been with me from the early days. So anyway, Victor had a birthday in August, and he's so insanely generous. He sent, I don't know how many people, but I know I wasn't the only one. He sent us presents for his birthday. So Victor does have a shopping problem, just a little bit. So I think he just was like having so much fun, like just shopping. And then he was like, I'm gonna just like gift all of this to my friends. So he sent me the most ridiculously generous package. And I even like hesitate to like talk about it or show it off, because it's just so, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Like, I don't want people out there to be like resentful. Like, why did she get all of that? But that's just, I mean, make friends with Victor. If you would make friends with Victor, you will get presents like this too. I'm just saying. He's the best. He's amazing. So anyway, I'm going to show you some of what he sent me. And yes, your jaw will be on the floor. He sent me this huge box. I'm opening it up and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then the very last thing I pull out is what I'm going to show you first. It's this tube. And I don't know what this is. I have no idea. So I pull it out like, what's going on? And then I see it says Nitka. And I remember that like a month or two ago, Victor and I had been talking about how Barbara Anna does exclusive kits with Nitka Moscow, where you have to get it through them. They have like the pattern. They have the only ones who have the pattern, and then they kit it up with like floss and fabric. And so he got a kit for me and for him, and he got us the 4 Seasons Barbara Anna kit. It looks like this. So the kit comes with everything. So of course I was like, okay, so that's what we're starting. Because we had been talking about doing like a birthday, starting some things for his birthday. And we had settled on a couple of things. But when I opened this up, I was like, we are starting this today on your birthday. Because I did wait, like I got the package a couple days before and I held on to it and I didn't open it up until his birthday. So anyway, we started the 4 Seasons, and this is where I'm at, where I got to. This was the needle minder Victor sent me. I think he got it from Mad for Minders, maybe. So it's just it's DMC, and this is just a simple like raw natural linen. I think it's 28 count. I know I didn't get it's not a lot to show, but I do think it stitches up really fast, because this was like 2 or 3 days of stitching. I'm right now I'm on summer. So they stitch up really fast, and you put all 4 like in a long row. So the fabric is a long piece of fabric. I don't know why I'm showing you from the back. So that you can put all 4 in a row. So that was, I want to get back to it because it's actually really fun. Barbara Anna's are so fun to stitch. So yeah, that was like that was enough, but he sent me so much more than that. I'm just going to show you now. I do have more stitching to show, but I'm just going to show you some of the presents he sent me, which are just, again, I'm not trying to like rub it in, but I do want to show, because it's just amazing. So he also sent me an 11 by 11 Q-snap and an 8 by 8 Q-snap because he's got my back and he knows I love Q-snaps, and I surprisingly needed them desperately. I had actually just ordered an 11 by 11, but I could use another, so that was awesome. He sent me these earrings from, I think it's an Etsy seller, Silver Fox Craft Shop. So there's a book and a Jane Eyre, or there's a book stack and a Jane Eyre. So they're like wooden etched earrings. And I think he said he has matching ones, but they're smaller, I think is what he said. I want to see those, actually. He sent me some needle minders from Mad for Minders. Oh, and what started this package was that he had bought this Mill Hill kit and he accidentally bought a second one. And he asked me if I wanted it. And I was like, yes, I was going to buy that anyway. So he's like, okay, don't buy it. I'm going to send it to you. And then he sent me like this enormous package. This is a Witch Out 28 or 32 count, a Witch Out 32 count linen, peaceful purple. I love that. He knows purple's my favorite color. He knows, because he also sent me this really cool mug that has scissor handles, and I think it comes in all different colors. So he made sure to send me a purple one. I'm going to take this out now. Look at this mug. This is so cool. And then that's not everything, but I don't know. The rest of it's probably I've started to use. He sent me some Fortnite Fabrics. So I don't know if these were like custom dyes or if they were fabric of the month. I'm honestly not sure. They're even weave, and I think they're 28 or 32 count just by looking at them. I think they're 28 count. So he sent me all this he's the best. He's amazing. Amazing. So then we started for his birthday again, what we were originally going to start before I was like, no, we're starting the Barbara Anna, was we were going to start Al Forest Embroidery Dinosaur Forest, which he didn't buy this for me. I already owned it, but he owned it too. So we decided we would start this. So, and then we were also inspired by Kyle Reckemeyer because he was, he had gotten a haul from Al Forest and he kept posting about it. And I was like, I want to work on an Al Forest. So Victor and I started Dinosaur Forest. So this was a kit. So it's the fabric that came with it, the floss that came with it, and the needle minder that came with it. And this is how far I got. Well, there goes my camera again. This is awesome. Can't wait to edit this later. Anyway, I was showing you my Dinosaur Forest. I am right in the center, and this is that big, huge Brontosaurus. Right here. This one. It's big. And Kyle was like, well, you need to name that dinosaur. So I decided to name her Broomhilda. So I got a little start on Broomhilda. But, you know, other things were calling, other things I needed to work on. So some of those only got a day or two, unfortunately. Because I had committed to another stitch along because I can't say no. Like, if you ask me, like if you have a pattern that I've kitted up and I want to start, and you ask me if I want to start it with you, the answer is yes. Yes, it is. So my friend Alexis was like, I want to start a memorabilia for my birthday. And I was like, cool. What did you have in mind? And she was like, well, I was thinking Andromeda. And I was like, I've had her kitted up for a long time, and I desperately want to stitch her as well. So I started Andromeda with Alexis, but I did make a last minute change. I've had her kitted up for ages with a certain fabric, and then I got an order. I made like a spontaneous purchase from Etsy, like super spontaneous. And the fabric order came in, and I was like, oh, I think one of those might look really good with Andromeda. So it's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. This camera isn't going to be the death of me. I'm pretty sure after I edit this video, I will be purchasing my new iPhone probably tonight, because this is getting really annoying, and I'm sorry. I will try to stop kvetching about it to you all. So anyway, I did a last minute fabric change, and I'm so happy with how it's looking. I do also want to mention I am changing a lot of things. Well, not a lot of things. I'm changing the skin tone on this Mirabilia, and I will be changing the hair as well. I'd always intended to make her a woman of color, but I actually got inspired when I heard that the new Disney live action Little Mermaid film, which just finished filming in July, like really recently, they had cast a black actress to play Ariel. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make Andromeda like that Ariel. The only thing is that a still from the film has leaked, or a couple of shots have leaked. Nothing official. And I'm a little sad because her hair is red-ish, but it's not like super red. It's okay. I think she looks great, but I just was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do like that, you know, maroon, like pow red, but it's fine. It's fine. I'll insert a picture of, the actress Halle Bailey. Of course you want to say Halle Berry. Halle Bailey. This is how she's going to look in the movie. Anyway, I'm super happy with my skin conversion with this pattern. But I haven't gotten into the hair yet. So this is her knee and her leg sitting on the rock. This is like part of her back. And she's looking amazing. I'm so happy. So this fabric that I got, is it gorgeous or is it gorgeous? So like I said, total impulse purchase, because what happened was like someone on Instagram, I don't even remember who, somebody on Instagram, I was like scrolling, and they posted that they had just gotten their fabric from this seller on Etsy, and I was like, that is beautiful. So I like immediately hunted it down, and when I went and looked, and the fabric is just gorgeous. Gorgeous fabric. It comes from Hungary. It is not cheap, but the pricing includes shipping. So when you're looking, you're like, ooh, okay, like that's for a fat quarter, that's a little more than I'm used to paying. It does include shipping from Hungary. Anyway, I found a really nice deal. It was a set of 3 fat quarters, 32 count, and it was a really like reasonable price. The seller is Nicholas Flamel Design on Etsy. And I just looked earlier today. So I got the Bronte collection, the Bronte Sisters collection, and he still has some. When I looked today, he still had some. So the individual fabrics do not have a name, but here's the rest of that piece that I'm using on Andromeda. She's a really small Mira, so she doesn't take a lot of fabric. Here is another piece. So these are all hand painted. That's another reason that I think they cost a little bit more. I don't know if one side's better than the other. He hand paints his fabric. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous! And then here's the third. I got 32 count because I figured these would work great for like Mirabilias or Bella Filipinas, like those kind of fabrics. Or those kind of patterns, which you need to use a 28 or 32 count because they have beads and stuff and blends and stuff. I want to say I ordered this fabric and it was coming from Hungary. He shipped it the next day maybe, and I got it like, I think it went out on Saturday and I got it on Monday. Like, my partner texted me and was like, hey, you got a package from like Europe? And I was like, I didn't order anything. And he's like, oh, I don't know, like, it's here. And I'm like, I didn't order anything though. And then I'm like, well, wait, I did order something, but that was like yesterday. So yeah, it came, I don't even know. It's like sorcery. I have no idea how I got it so fast. Anyway, Andromeda looks phenomenal on this fabric. She's so pretty. I could not put her down either. Like, I stitched on her for like 4 or 5 days straight, and I did not, I couldn't put her down. She was just, she's really fun to stitch. So what I've been stitching at work on my lunch break, I finally went back to the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Cozy Cafe. I was caught up on this, and then now I'm like 3 parts behind. So here's what's been released so far. I'm stitching mine on 20 count Ada in petty point. It's gray petty point. I just want to say, like, y'all lied to me, because a couple of you have told me 20 count Ada, it's so great. It's just like 40 count, but it's easier because, you know, it's the one, you don't have to count over 2. It's so great. I don't like, I've tried a couple of 20 count Adas. I do not like the coverage. It is not equivalent to 40 count linen. It's just not. I don't know if it's because 40 count linen has like shrunk a little bit. I love the coverage of 1 strand on 40 count linen. I do not like the coverage of 1 strand on 20 count Ada. I know that they're comparable counts, but it's just, I don't like it. So I had to use 2 strands on this, which means my stitches are super, super crowded, and I have to fight. I have to fight for a lot of those stitches because it's a little too crowded for 20 count, but the coverage with 1 strand looked terrible. So I'm pushing through, but my stitches aren't neat because of that. So don't look too close. It's not my best work. Anyway, I'm down here in this part. I'm almost done. And then I've got the other 2 to go, and then I'll be caught up again. These don't take very long to stitch at all. And then what else? Oh, so then, like I told you earlier, if you reach out to me and you're like, do you want to stitch this with me? The answer is usually going to be yes. If I own it or love it or whatever. But the other thing I'm trying to do, because I have so many things kitted up and then it's like never the right time to start them. So I'm trying to be like a person who says yes to things. So when people are like, do you want to stitch Andromeda with me? I'm like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. And also I'm trying, when I see someone stitching something that I really, really love and I have it kitted up and I've been meaning to start it forever and ever, and the time is never right, that when I see someone like working on it, like that is my cue, like that I need to go start that project. So I've been wanting to start my Home in the Garden from Liz Matthews, because I love, like, when she just released like a sneak peek. She didn't even have the full design out yet. When she showed just a tiny little sneak peek, I messaged her and I was like, I love that, and I am going to get it the second you release it. So it's my Home in the Garden. It's beautiful. And I had it kitted up, ready to go. And Alicia from Resist Stitch started stitching it, and I was like, stuff's falling behind me. I was like, okay, that's my cue. That's my cue. Here we go. So I started it. I am using like silks that I had in stash, so it's not the called for stuff. It's just like what I had. This is a Color and Cotton 40 count linen. It's one of the fabric of the months. I believe the color is Parthenon. And I started in the center. So that's where I'm at. This needle minder is new from It's Charm School. Allison Rosen is a crafty girl on Instagram. The Etsy shop is It's Charm School, and she just released this autumn collection, and it is so amazing. She sent me that. Let me show you the rest of the collection. Not the whole collection, but the rest of what I have. So I had I had purchased from her. She came out with some Game of Thrones needle minders, and I had to have them. So I went to her Etsy shop and I bought these. These are the 4. I restricted myself to 4. So these are the 4 I bought. I love Game of Thrones. I love the books. If, you know, he would, here's a little set right here behind me. If he would ever like to write the next one, that'd be great. So, and I loved the show, although the last season was trash. I mean, it was. Anyway, so I went and grabbed these. And then she sent me like a preview of her autumn collection, which has since come out. Like, you can get these. So I have the squirrel with the coffee. God, he's so cute. The squirrel with the coffee. And then I have pumpkin spice and everything nice and sweater weather. And then this is a tail tucker. Look how cute this is. So this is one of her tail tuckers. So she's so sweet. I do buy a lot. I do buy a lot from her because I just love I love everything she does. They're so good. So I buy a lot from her, and then she occasionally will like just send me some and be like, hey, like, these are coming out soon. If you want to show them on your channel, that'd be great. But I mean, it's usually stuff I would have bought. Like, I would have bought all of these anyway. But go over, I'll link below. Her Etsy shop is awesome. Awesome. Let me put a note to myself right now so I don't forget. Okay, sorry. So, she has some more coming out, but I can't show you yet. But she sent me a product to like test out to see like if I have any feedback about it. So exciting things to come. All right, and my last work in progress was another new start. This one was truly like last minute spontaneous. So my friend, my dear friend, she's a local Stitchy friend, Betsy Klegger. Yes, I know Betsy Klegger in real life. I have hung out with her more than once. I think 3 or 4 times now. So, I mean, obviously not during like 2020 at all. But anyway, Betsy lives not far from me at all. And she is like, if you watch her videos, she is like that in real life, like 100%. Betsy is just like that in real life. She's so fun to hang out with. So, Betsy's going, she just posted a Flosstube, I think on Monday. Betsy's going through a health thing right now. She does not have cancer, luckily, but she has a pretty serious health issue, and she's facing like some really tough medical decisions about treatment, and it's her story to tell. And you know, Betsy's an open book, so like if you go watch her video, she talks about it right at the beginning of her video. It's like the first 10 minutes. And she can tell you, you know, you can go watch that to get the more detail about what's going on. But she decided to start a stitch along, and she asked people to join in. So from Hedgerow Stitching, she wants everybody to stitch this Elizabeth Adelsi sampler. And it's a really small sampler. It's like 111 by 120. It's not a lot of stitching at all. So of course I wanted to support my friend Betsy. So I went and grabbed the pattern and I kitted it up, and I started it last night, and it's stitching up really, really fast, and I'm really happy it's coming out really, really well. So here's where I'm at on this pattern. I'm not using the called for colors. I looked at I tried to get something close to what the designer called for, but I'm using, I switched it up a little bit. And I'm already like almost a fourth done. So it's stitching up really fast. This is a mystery color and cotton. It's from a grab bag. I think it's a 40 count. It feels like a 40 count. And I just love it. I love how it's coming together. So the colors I use. So the first thing is Color and Cotton, just a couple days ago, had posted like a fall color pack. And it was just absolutely stunning. And I bought it immediately, like the second I saw it. And it's already sold out, I think, of most of the colors. So I'm glad I jumped on that right away. Anyway, so this color pack they released, and it's these 6 colors. And it came out, I bought it like on Friday and I got it on Monday. I got it really fast. So I was like, I think some of those will work. So the only ones I couldn't use were the 2 reds. But the other ones I'm using in this sampler. And then I just pulled from Stash. And I've got stuff that reminds me of Betsy. So like, Betsy actually made, I'm trying to get this floss ring to cooperate with me. Betsy made me this floss ring. This was even before Lincoln passed away. She made me this floss ring with Lincoln. And then I got this needle minder from Dawn at the retreat I went to with Betsy last month. So I'm doing this for Betsy, but I'm actually really happy with how this is coming out. It's so pretty. So if you want to stitch along with us, Betsy came up with a hashtag, stupid tumor Sal. And her and Nikki Noodles are like hosting the stitch along. So I'll link them down below if you want to go check that out. So that is all of my stitching. It's a lot, right? I stitched a lot of stuff. I showed you most of my haul like during. So let me just show you a couple things. Not much, I promise. I promise. It's not a lot. Okay, so I bought, this is not stitching related, but you're going to have to suffer and see it. Oh, it's got a little bit of stitching on it, actually. Okay, I follow on Instagram Slub Lover Stitches. Her name is Candace, and she has been crocheting the most hilarious, penises, basically, and posting them on her Instagram. And she had crocheted a bag of dicks. And I messaged her and I said, can you make me one? Like, can I buy one from you? And I was like, I totally get it. If it's like a pain, like, I don't know how long this takes. Like, you can say no. But like, I would love to pay you for a bag of dicks if you would be so inclined. And she was like, yeah, for sure. So I got a bag of dicks. So this part is stitched, which I didn't even realize when I bought it. I didn't even know. Anyway, so she's like, what colors do you want in your bag of dicks? And I was like, well, I really don't care. I'm just so excited to get a bag of them. But I was like, rainbow colors would be great. So here are all my there's no really good way to hold these up and show you, but here's all my rainbow dicks for my bag of dicks. And then she included an extra, a bonus multicolor. So this is the most amazing thing I've received all year. I mean, look at, they fit in this little pouch. They're so cute. And so I did ask her, I said, hey, if anybody asks me, should I send them your way? If it's I totally understand. We're makers. We know how long this stuff takes. So I don't want to inconvenience you. Let me know if you would be willing to make these for other people. And she said she would. So if you need your own bag of crocheted dicks, contact Candace on Instagram and maybe you guys can work something out. I love them. They will be sitting behind me in future videos. I love when somebody like I'm friends with or I respect in the cross stitch world has to follow something like that. So following the bag of dicks, Brittany from Ingleside Imaginarium, you're up. So I ordered this new pattern for Brittany. It is Snoozing Sirens, and she posted this just a couple days ago, and it was immediate. Yes. It's so pretty. It is so pretty. And I don't think it looks like it'll be that much stitching. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I love the representation. We've got some sapphic romance. We've got different skin tones and hair. And then Brittany is so amazing. She wanted to be even more inclusive, so she came up with all different skin tones, like charted, like she gives you colors for like all the skin tones. And then she provides all different hairs as well. So there are long hairs and short hairs and just different like combinations where you can customize your sirens. So I really don't think it'll take that long to stitch. I think it's going to be a fast stitch. Let me show you one more time. It's so beautiful. And Brittany is just like the kindest person. She's so wonderful. I love her. And I love that pattern. And Brittany, I'm sorry you had to follow a bag of dicks. It's nothing personal. We're almost done. We're almost done, I swear. This new pattern came out from Mama Witch Cross Stitch. I found her a couple weeks ago when she had that banjo possum pattern that Heather, Link is my homeboy, showed. And I had to go get it. And then she's come out with a few, but I love this one. She just came out with this one and I just love it. The fox and the badger. And the bun. The bun. And the Baba Yaga house. Love it. So I grabbed that one. And I think that's it. That's it. And I wanted to show you guys, I didn't buy this, but I wanted to show you guys this really amazing little present I got. So Jenny, who I don't believe does Flosstube or anything like that, she contacted me on Instagram and she was like, hey, I'm going to try dyeing fabric with like natural dyeing. And she said, I'm growing these sunflowers and I heard you can actually like do fabric dyeing with sunflower seeds. And I was like, that sounds so cool. Like, I want to see, send me pictures. I want to see how it comes out. And she's like, well, I'll send you some seeds. So the seeds were finally like dried and ready. And I don't know, I haven't got a chance to play with them yet because I just got these. But she sent me these sunflower seeds, but she packaged them up so cute. Like, she sent me these little seed packets. And I think there's 2 different varieties. So this one says can yield shades from dove gray to deep purple. So I'm like super excited to see how that comes out. And then these are, I don't know. But she said they looked more purple before she dried them. So we're curious if these would come out more purple. And then I think these, she said I could just plant. She sent just for planting. So yeah, she told me she wanted to send me some seeds. So I was like just expecting some seeds, but she sent some other stuff in the package, which is just super, super sweet. She sent me this David Rose notepad. You're on my shit list. Cause she knows I love Schitt's Creek. So kind. And then she sent me these beautiful buttons and I asked her if she made them and she said no, she just collects them. Oh my God, they're so pretty. She sent me these beautiful, beautiful handmade buttons. So I'll use these for like finishing. And then I took it off so I could show you just the buttons, but there was a really cute needle minder on there as well. It says read more. And then, I mean, these buttons are gorgeous. They are gorgeous. So like, if that wasn't enough, it all comes in this little pouch. And I messaged her and I'm like, did you punch needle that yourself, or did you like buy this pouch somewhere? And she's like, no, I did it. I love to punch needle too. So she made this and sent it to me. Is it beautiful? I love sunflowers. I love them. So yeah, I just wanted to show that off because I know a lot of cross stitchers do punch needle as well. I haven't fallen down that rabbit hole yet. But yeah, I mean, it was just such a generous, like thoughtful, beautiful gift to open after like a really crazy Monday at work. And, I just was expecting some seeds, and like she sent all these cute little extras, and it's just so kind. So thank you, Jenny. And I will show you guys how my fabric dyeing experiment turns out once I try. I will show you. Okay, so that is all the stitching stuff. I'm going to do just a little bit of book talk and then we're out of here. So if you don't care to stay for book talk, you can leave now. You're not going to miss anything, I promise. I'm going to keep book talk really brief because I think this video is going to be really, really long. So this is not everything I read in the last 3 weeks, but I just picked a few highlights for you. So I continued my reread of the Outlander series. So I read A Breath of Snow and Ashes, and then in September I will be reading An Echo in the Bone. In October I will be reading Written in My Own Heart's Blood, and then I will be ready for the new Outlander book that's coming out late November, and it's called Go Tell the Bees I'm Home. So this was a long one. This one's like almost 1,000 pages. They're all long, dense. These books. I love them. I love these books, but they're intense. So anyway, I'm not going to go on and on about this. This is the fifth book or the sixth book. Which book are we on now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is number 6. So I can't like recap all 6 books. Like, this book in the Outlander series is primarily just the couple of years leading up to the Revolution. So I think it's mostly set in like 1773, 74, and 75. So we're building up to the American Revolution. Claire, being a time traveler from 1960 something in this rendition, knows how history is going to shake out. So she has told Jamie, like, the Americans are going to win this war. Britain will lose. So, you know, it's about them like navigating the colonies and the New World and trying to play the politics of being loyal British subjects for now, but trying to figure out when they need to jump ship and join up with the revolutionaries. And there's this, you know, this tightrope that they're trying to walk through the whole book of trying to figure out when the time is right to become traitors, basically. And of course, a lot of other stuff happens. It's not just that, but that's kind of the main conflict of this book. And then the book ends like it's such a bang. Like, most of the book starts off really slow, and a lot of the book you're kind of just building up to things, and then like so much happens in like the last 50 pages that you're just like what? So much happens. It's all spoilers, so I can't really tell you if you haven't been into the series, but this book ends like very dramatically. So makes me really excited to get into the next book, but I was able to give myself a little break because I listened to this one on audiobook, which I had never done before. I've read all of these like the traditional way, but I got the audiobook for this one because it's just so intense to read these books, and I just needed to be able to read it, but maybe like stitch at the same time and not just have to devote so much time to reading this book. And it worked out beautifully. I got a ton of stitching done. but I also got to really enjoy the book. The audiobooks are very well done. And I was able to finish this book in 2 weeks instead of 4 weeks. So then I had a nice like 2-week break. And then now I'm ready to start the next one. So I definitely do recommend the audiobooks if you're interested in that. Then I read another book from Tessa Bailey. So this is a contemporary romance. So Tessa Bailey, I had read her book called The Tools of Engagement. And I didn't love it. I was a little bit like it was fine. It was fine, but it wasn't great. And for me. But I could tell there was like some promise like to her style of writing, and I was like, I think I need to give her another try like before I really decide. So I had already picked up this book, so I was like, fine, you know, I'll read this and then I'll see. I really like this book, so she did redeem herself. So this book features a character named Georgette. She goes by Georgie. And then the male romance is kind of like a washed up pro baseball player. So he was like the town hotshot, like went to the major leagues, had this amazing like rookie season, was the hottest thing in baseball. And then like he got injured and his career kind of tanked. And now he's like back home and he's depressed and he's directionless and, you know, trying to figure out like what to do with his life. And his childhood best friend has a sister, Georgie, and she comes in and like shakes up his life. And the book is about, you know, they fall in love, right? Like that's what always happens. But Tessa Bailey, she's interesting because she does, she's got a little more snark and sass to her writing style, which I appreciate. It's not, you know, like a Hallmark movie, you know, she's a little spunky. So, her books are fun to read. And one thing I've noticed about the 2 books I've read from Tessa Bailey is she's really into like dirty talk. So I'm just throwing that out there because I could take it or leave it, like reading it in this book, but I know I could see some people being like, oh, that's so hot. Or some people being like, nah. Like her characters during their sexy times, like they have full on conversations. Like, it's interesting. She's got a style. Like I'm not judging anybody, and I'm not trying to like signal like what I'm into to you guys, because it's not really your business. But there is definitely a style. Her sex scenes in both of the books I've read, there's a style to them of a certain kind of man who takes charge in a certain kind of. All right, hopefully this is the last time we're restarting this video. I'm not sure where I was on this when I was rudely cut off. Anyway, what I was saying was Tessa Bailey has a very specific style to her sex scenes, and I'm not knocking it. But I feel like I know way too much about like what gets Tessa Bailey off, like from reading those. But anyway, they're definitely steamy, like adult content. Like I said, these aren't your like generic run-of-the-mill, like wholesome contemporary romance novels. They're a little spicy. So actually I really enjoyed this. So I think I will give Tessa Bailey another chance. I like this a lot better than Tools of Engagement. And I will, if I come across more of her books, I will check them out. So the last book I'm going to talk about is a Mercy Thompson novel from Patricia Briggs. This is a paranormal urban fantasy. So, this is maybe the 7th or 8th book in this series, I think. I've talked about these books before. I very much enjoy the Mercy Thompson's novels. They're short and easy reads. They're always like around 330 pages. They're not too long. And they're good. Like they're almost like a comfort read if you need some nice, wholesome paranormal urban fantasy in your life. So Mercy Thompson is a shapeshifter. She shifts into a coyote, which is apparently extremely rare. She doesn't really know anyone else like her. She is adopted and raised by a werewolf pack because no one really, it's like the closest thing. Like, she's not a werewolf, she's a coyote shifter, and she has different like magic and rules than them, but they're the closest thing. So she's raised by werewolves, and they feature prominently in the series. She ends up married to a werewolf. Spoiler alert. That does happen at some point in this series. But anyway, she belongs to a pack. There are also occasionally some other mystical creatures that pop up in the series. There's a vampire that pops in and out. One or two of the books centers pretty heavily around like vampire conflict. And then there are the Fae, who have various talents and abilities. And they feature heavily in the series as well. And then occasionally these other like crazy creatures show up. So in this book, this like super scary, super powerful god, like volcano god, ends up like terrorizing her town. So it's about, you know, the pack trying to defeat this new threat. So they're just, like I said, they're comfort reads. They're easy to just sink into and enjoy. They always like wrap up nicely, but like open up some new like storylines. So you're excited to read the next book and like see what's going on with certain relationships and certain things. But Mercy's just such a nice, likable, like such a great character. She's tough and she's loyal, but she's vulnerable and she's kind. She's super smart and resourceful, and you know, it's just fun to root for her when you're reading these books. And this book was really fun because her husband's ex-wife comes back into the picture for like, she needs some help. She's on the run and she needs some help, and the pack takes her in to protect her. And it was so funny to like read that conflict between like the new wife and the ex-wife, and the ex-wife is like manipulative and, you know, trying to do all this stuff, and just watching like Mercy stand up for herself and stand up to the ex-wife and put her in her place. Like, it's always a good time. So it was a really good book, and I do really, really recommend this series. If you are interested in some urban fantasy, check out the Mercy Thompson books. They're really, really good. So that is it for the book talk. Thank you for watching if you made it this far. And if you didn't make it this far and you're not even hearing this message, that's fine too. So that's all I have. I will see you guys next time.